I don't say that in a negative way, but where have you both ended up? Because you've gone through this sort of circular thing about LICs and ETFs and so on, and both convince each other and then convince each other back.
No, yeah, I say that is completely true. I was always a very big ETF investor, and then Dave started talking, and I read his blog about LICs, and I thought that, look, this dividend investing thing is great, there's a solid returns as well, and that's a great, more stable income. I won't say completely stable to receive. But I think I really have sort of returned back to whole sound index investing strategy, and sort of more recently seen the benefits of international diversification. Probably took me a bit too long to see those benefits, but here I am, I'm young, I'm learning as well, and I'm happy I'm doing that, so yeah.
And that's the thing, we're all just learning, just like you guys are learning. No one knows it all. Like, we might be on a stage, but nobody knows everything. I mean, we probably know less than you think we do. But that's the thing, we're both still figuring things out, and one thing I learned that I don't think gets spoken of enough about index funds is
Positive skew.
That's right. It's called positive skew.
That's
so
all I know is content.
There's been studies done in America over the course of a few decades that showed that out of all the stocks in the US market, a large portion of the returns are driven by a small number of stocks. Now, I don't know if the same thing is true in Australia. I don't think it's true to the same extent because we have a large amount of companies that are very, very old. So I don't think it's true to the same extent, but that concept and that, not like a rule of thumb, but that concept is still very powerful, that the index has this automatic rebalancing, and that if you miss some of those big winners, you're likely to underperform. And although the older listed investment companies that I still invest in, I'm happy to hold them because they own a large portfolio of kind of blue chip dividend paying stocks that provide pretty reliable income. If they miss some of the biggest winners, they are likely to underperform, and that's just the way it is. And that's something that I've learned in the last year or so that I don't think gets enough airtime. Index funds tends to be like about low cost and diversified and all the rest of it, but that positive skew was a big eye opener for me.
Any follow-ups?
Yeah. So have you got an endpoint, or are you still listening? Because
I'd like to
through
think.
all the blogging and stuff, there's obviously that ongoing debate. You see people's thoughts. Do you think you reach an endpoint?
I mean, the thing is, every time I change my mind, I think I've reached an endpoint. Yeah. And then I change my mind again. So I'm reluctant to say I've reached an endpoint, but I think I've reached an endpoint. As I sort of responded to an earlier question, it's just the only game in town now really is broad-based index fund investing with huge diversification across international markets and Australian markets.
My thing is I will continue to buy listed investment companies, but I kind of added a caveat that provided that they're at a decent discount to kind of compensate for the kind of likelihood that they will miss some high growth stocks and underperform. But other than that, I'm happy to own both because they both have their benefits in different ways, and I like them both for kind of different reasons.